As you've been building your business online, have you found that instead of getting the dozens or hundreds of sales that you were going for, instead you got dozens or hundreds of objections or reasons why they just can't buy your stuff today and no thank you? Well, don't be discouraged, because in today's episode, we're going to actually show you how to reverse engineer all those objections and all those rejections and turn it into amazing marketing material that will actually have your products and your offers selling like crazy. So if you market to the negative Nelly, to the person who has 100 reasons under the sun why they're not going to buy your thing, and you market to that person and what's in their mind, your sales will explode. This is going to be a super fun one. So let's do this.
Striving for a business breakthrough? Shortcut your learning curve to success with the right training, coaching, and support. Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, a show for coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers striving to earn six figures by leveraging social media without being slaves to their businesses. From an overworked hustler to an impactful entrepreneur, your journey starts here on the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show.
I'm here today with Justice Eagan. I'm so excited. He is an expert in all things influence, persuasion, and storytelling when it comes to marketing on social. So welcome, Justice.
So good to be here. Super excited to come out and talk to people and be part of this summit. Really honored. So thank you so much.
Well, I'm especially excited that you're here because I actually found Justice by taking one of his trainings, and it helped me to step up my game from, I would call, like amateur to professional. So I definitely know that he has some good tips for you guys today.
Awesome.
So for those viewers who maybe have not met you yet, can you tell us a little bit about your story and kind of what brought you to this moment?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I was a late bloomer and underachiever, however you want to call it. I guess I was in my early 30s, waiting tables, and just kind of like had it with working the restaurant business. I'd been in it for 17 years, and just wanted out. And I always kind of had this idea that I wanted to do something for myself. But the reality is all these years kind of being in the restaurant business and not being very responsible, and stepping up. I had no capital to start a business or anything like that. I mean, just the opposite. I was in debt, and I was just looking for a way, looking for a way. And somebody introduced me to the home business industry, which got me starting to learn about network marketing, which got me to learn about affiliate marketing and all of these different ways that people were potentially making money on the internet and just in general, making money without, major startup or anything like that. And I saw a guy that was producing huge numbers, like living in the mountains of some other country. And I'm like, man, I gotta know what this guy's doing. And, after all the searching and all the rabbit holes and all like the going down every just kind of dark alley of the internet, trying to figure this stuff out. One day I had an injury, it put me out of work, and like that really forced my hand. I had to make a big decision. And I just decided that I was going to build an internet business, and I was going to figure it out, and I was going to learn how, and that kind of started the journey. And it was not a smooth sailing journey. I mean, I did not make money right away. When I tell you, like there were a lot of times where it's like internet tools were getting shut off left and right. And it's like, how, what am I going to do? But I wanted it. I was going to learn what I needed to learn to start producing results. And, my results started in affiliate marketing, in network marketing. Then I went on to start creating some of my own info products and training and coaching. And we were just talking how, recent events have created this consulting business out of nowhere. So I always tell people, I'm like, these are the most skills you could have. Okay. Like the ability to help people get their product, service, message in front of the perfect people online. Like the world needs it, and they need it more and more every day. And so it's like, if you just keep learning the skills, where you use them and how that unfolds is gonna show up, right? Like, and that's kind of what's happened for me. I mean, we talked about it. It's like lots of different versions of what I do online, and each and every time it just gets better and better and better. And I'm just super thankful that all this opportunity exists around us, and that social media is here, and that we're connected to the developed world. And if we have an idea and the will to learn, all the information's out there, and we can just grow our skills and for ourselves, essentially.
Yeah. Well, what I love about your story, it's interesting. Like I'd say at least 50 to 75% of the experts that are featured here got to start in network marketing, affiliate marketing, and then pivoted and pivoted and pivoted.
Yeah.
And like, because we're all evolving constantly, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Some of us have that story of evolution. So I love that you shared that with us. So I know one of the things that I like best about you and what you teach personally is that a lot of times when you're learning a new skill, a new method, a new system, it all seems like overwhelming and crazy and confusing. But you have this way of breaking things down into just a very like logical, methodical, easy to follow system, right?
Awesome.
And I know
I'm glad that's the way it's received. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And so, specializing in marketing and systems, for those viewers who are with us because they specifically want to launch something just before the holidays or kind of use that time strategically in their favor, if you think about like a launch toolbox, all the different tools you would have, at your disposal, what's in your toolbox? Like what are some of the systems that you would have?
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting. And we were talking about this briefly, and it's funny. Very rarely do people, when people come to me, they want like the how many of these or what of this, or do I need this or do I need that? And a lot of like what most people are looking for and what they think is necessary isn't like where the magic is, right? Like the first thing anybody needs is a great, compelling and unique message, right? You need like an unbelievable hook. Like what is the thing that gets people in the front door? And it has to feel unique. It has to feel like new, unique, and it has to solve a major problem that your ideal audience has. Mm-hmm. All right. And very interesting. I always say like the best scenario is to actually work backwards. Like if it is to figure out what your audience needs, figure out what language they speak, write your marketing first for the thing, and then create based on the great marketing message that you created. If you have the option, I create the marketing first, before I would create a product. And one of the products we were talking about, which was Social Testimonial Profits, that was a product that was sold and delivered like it was an idea. And and so I'm always about creating the message, getting the message right first. Okay. And so a great essentially offer, but upfront your language just right. And you need to be able to stand out from the crowd, because there's enough people out there making promises on the internet that like you really have to have something compelling. Beyond that, from a system standpoint, great content, that all makes what we call an unbelievable marketing argument. And essentially, whether you deliver your content through a webinar, whether you deliver it through a series of videos, whether you're delivering it, through emails, all of those things need to show your prospect how the transformation is going to take place for them, and why this is going to work where other things have failed them. Okay. So if you think about it, it's essentially, when somebody sits down, I always say, like, when somebody sits down at the computer, I picture my perfect prospect in front of the computer with their arms crossed and a scowl on their face, and they're hovering the little X up in the top of the corner. Most people are like, I've got this great product and this great idea, and I'm going to bring it out there and people are going to love it. And I go, like, everybody out there is going to be like this. Okay, what are all the reasons they're going to say no? What are all the things they've tried before? What are all the assumptions they have? What are all the this? And then I build an argument that shows them why my offer is different. And that is probably, I always say I think the thing that's helped me most in marketing is when I'm marketing, I'm sitting in the shoes of the consumer. And when I'm consuming, I view it through the eyes of the marketer. Like if something gets me, I'm like, ooh, I need to know, why did it make me feel like that? Why am I so excited? Why did I buy the upsell? Like I've got to figure out like what they're doing. And so, a great message, whatever you're launching is all built around an attractive message, an attractive promise, right? And then the explanation of transformation. And I liken it to being a lawyer in a courtroom. Like you have to make the argument that shifts people to see things through the lens you want them to see it through.
So you actually poke holes in your own work and then fill the holes essentially with information.
All day long. Yeah, I as I write things and as I read, I go, okay, I'm sitting in the other person's shoes. When I say this, what do they think? Well, they think, well, he's talking about this. Like, and I'll give you an example. If I say, social testimonial process is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. That's a course, and I believe that's a course you're familiar with, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a course about essentially copywriting and Facebook ads, if you really boil it down.
Yeah.
Right? Storytelling, writing stories, Facebook ads, how to get leads right away. But if I went out there and made it about copywriting and Facebook ads, well, people would go, well, I'm not a writer. I'm not good at writing. I don't have a result to write the story about. Ads, I don't have a budget. I've tried ads before. They haven't worked for me. People say ads don't work for my kind of business. All of these different things would come up, right? And so we start with a promise. Here's what I can do for you. And then as we start to unpack how we do that, every time I say, hey, we have a story, but if you're not a writer, okay, like immediately, like jumping right into where that person, but if you're not a writer, here's what you do. Oh, if you don't have a result, here's what you do. Just so we can kind of help them see their way through the whole process. Yeah. And a lot of times average marketing lets people doesn't address all those things and people jump ship before they get to the finish line.
Yeah. So a pivotal part of your success is that you shoot holes in all your own ideas first before someone else does it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely. I try and anticipate every single reason someone's going to say no, or someone's not going to understand what I'm saying, or someone's going to have an assumption, jump to a conclusion, all of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I love, if I could kind of give viewers like a sneak peek into that training, if that's okay. One of my favorite parts was when you started talking about like, I think this would fall under the influence and persuasion piece of like little tricks you use in your copywriting or storytelling that, like, I'm trying to remember the term for them, but one technique gave you borrowed authority and another.
Yeah, like influence triggers, like influence. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So what are some of those little nuggets or little strategies that you use in your writing that can help to plug those holes by creating trust?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for sure. So, I mean, one of the things on there, so I actually have a course out there called the Persuasion Advantage. It's like all these like little kind of moves. And one of them I call like the Trojan horse, my Trojan horse strategy for handling objections. Yeah. And it's kind of for those who have like a sales background or network marketing background, it's like a modified version of feel, felt, found. Yeah. Where it's like, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found. And so anytime in any of my communication, whether it be in the store, in an email, whether it be, in a video, very often what I will do is I will validate the way the objection that person had, because I had it was like, okay, when someone told me this would work the way they said it would work, my thought was insert your objection. Right? Now, I want to be clear about something. Like, I never make this stuff up, okay? So in other words, if I, like, and that's one thing that people are always like a lot of times students will come to me with this, like, big fantasy world of, like, stuff. And I'm like, but that's not really not really what happened. You have to frame your real life experiences and your real life thoughts and beliefs and all that different stuff. Like this is not fantasy land here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There is a way to be influential and persuasive in a high integrity way, be completely truthful, and just move, shift people's thinking to see the benefits of your product, right? The outcome they can have. So, one way, like one example is that, which is validating their objection or suspicion or beliefs, because you felt the same way they did at some point, right? And then through a third party explanation, kind of putting your own tail between your legs and recognizing how wrong you were. Yeah. And that's a way of allowing that person to arrive at the same conclusion with you without telling them they're wrong. Because if you're willing to say, hey, I couldn't believe it. Like, I felt like an idiot. You know, I was so wrong. If this is the way they're thinking now somebody has to make a choice. Do I think now how Justice thinks now, or do I stay over where he used to think and he ended up feeling like an idiot?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, it's a natural choice. So that's an example of a way to communicate in a way that,
yeah, I love that. Well, and it marries together addressing the objection and being vulnerable at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the best thing is that A, you address what's on their mind, but you build an extraordinary amount of trust by being willing to admit that you didn't know everything and that you were wrong and that you did feel, like you did feel a certain way that wasn't like, you're not necessarily like in this superstar place all the time, that vulnerability goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. And so for those of you who are maybe struggling with getting the same objection over and over, or getting the same reason that your offer is turned down over and over, I think the point where my business really shifted was when I stopped looking at those things as problems and started recognizing that those problems were actually gold. Like, that was the way into my viewers' hearts and into their trust, because if I could address that problem, I could truly help them and they'd be more than happy to pull out their credit card, right? So problems aren't a bad thing. Problems are a good thing.
No. Like we've always said, objections, when people are coming up with objections, there's interest. It's like their brain is turning on these things. They're trying to they're trying to kind of pick it apart. They're trying to figure out why they shouldn't say yes. But they're doing that because they're being pulled in an interested way towards what you offer. So yeah, that was one of them. I'm trying to think of another example. I always talk about implied social proof. Social proof's a common one. Yeah, you got testimonials or numbers around something, results you've gotten, all of this different stuff. But I like implied authority and implied social proof. Like, I like to be, there's opportunities to be more subtle about it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't have 1 million coaching clients, or you don't have 1 million of these, you can still say, when I was in a conversation with my coaching client the other day, and it's like that, all that says a lot, and you're taking this teaching lesson out of that. And it says, hey, this person's got coaching clients. Or it was, if you mention your email list, or you're this or you're that, like these different things, they don't have to be gigantic, but you can just kind of really casually refer to these things. And you'd be surprised at how much people in their mind will go, oh, well, this person's got all these coaching clients, or this person's got a big email list, or this person's this. And you don't have to, grow that. You don't have to make the numbers up or anything. Just by working that into the conversation, you can kind of infer that authority. And
right. I mean, for all they know, you might have 2 coaching clients and an email list of 50 people, but they don't know that. In their head, it's 5,010,
Yeah, and as long as you're pulling a learning lesson out of, if you're talking about that in a way that's valuable to them, that's enough, right? Because it doesn't matter if you have 2, it doesn't matter how many you have.
Right. Yeah, I love that. So for those people who are, I'm sure, intrigued by all the tidbits you're sharing, and maybe they're really good at getting leads, but they have a hard time converting them into buyers.
Gotcha.
How does storytelling play a role in getting leads into buyers? Or what system do you use to do that? Is there a process people could fine tune if they were struggling there?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you bring someone in, obviously it's much more difficult to bring someone in your world and turn around and ask them for the sale, right? You want to incubate that relationship in some way, shape, or form. A lot of times we do that through content. I've done it many times, the social testimonial profits being an example, through a series of training videos, leading to then my offer. That's a very, very, very popular, effective, and common approach. Sometimes you might get a lead into and then direct them, say, to a webinar. But no matter what you're doing there, the process is going to be that you need to show them, you need to prove to them, okay, that your information is valuable, help them understand how it can help them, that you're trustworthy, okay, through different authority and social proof and things like this, ease their kind of that resistance. Mm-hmm. And anytime that you're delivering value, that law of reciprocity kicks in. If you give someone for free, something that really can make a difference for them, that makes a big difference. It really makes a shift. Doesn't mean that you have to, there's a misconception out there that's like, that like people get so free happy. Oh, I got to give them everything for free. And then they wait around like hoping somebody's going to come like hand them money. You got to ask, like you got to ring the cash register. But yeah. So typically like if someone's generating leads and they're not converting sales, I would say that, you want to follow up in a way that builds trust, builds authority, that exhibits, that demonstrates the value of what you have, and shows them clearly, these are the biggest things. How it's going to get them the result that you promised, but also why it's going to work where other things they've tried haven't. Because everybody, like nobody wants to try the same weight loss thing they tried before that didn't work. They have to believe that this is going to work where something else hasn't. And I heard it said really unbelievably in a book called, I think it was in Cashvertising, I heard it, which is a copywriting book, that the first time someone experiences your product is in the movie of the mind. Like that you are going to show them through what life looks like, the transformation that takes place as they're using your thing, as they're going through your process, as they're trying your, as they're going through your coaching method or, using your product, whatever it is. Like you're literally going to show, like you're going to show them, the transformation. They're going to see it in their head. And however you do that, whether it's, a webinar presentation, whether it's through a series of videos to follow up, like I do with Social Testimonial Profits, whether it's through a series of emails, however it is, that's the goal of the communication.
Yeah. I love that. So how big of a role does email play in moving people through that process? Because I know there's some people who are like die hard, you must have an email list, and others who resist it because it feels overwhelming to have to come up with emails all the time. So how would you address
I mean, I think that even like an email list is absolutely still one of the biggest musts, like for anybody. And, everybody goes out there and says, oh, email's dead, email this, email that, or no, people say, I don't know, I get so many emails, I don't open them. I'm like, you open the ones that matter. Like you open what matters. And especially when it matters most. Yeah. And, I remember I was actually, in the kind of this consulting business that's coming up over time. I was on a call to go over a proposal, with a bunch of like heavy duty guys that, the owner of this huge financial firm. And, he was trying to posture up, and he said to me, he said, well, we had proposed that they watch this video, and he said, who's going to watch, I don't know, who's going to sit down and watch a 45-minute video. Right. And I said to him, do you have any kids? And he said, yeah. I said, how old? And, he told me, and I said, well, when you were buying a car for your daughter, how much time did you spend researching cars and the safety of cars and all that? He said an extraordinary amount of time. He said, you would have watched a 45-minute video. Okay. Yeah. So before anybody tells you email's dead or any like things too long or it's too much writing or it's too hard, just remember the key is to matter. Like if you matter to the people, then they're going to open it. Okay. Yeah. Just make sure you matter. And so, building an email list is absolutely huge. It's really the only source of traffic that you're going to own. Okay. And like everybody fusses about algorithms and, oh my God, Facebook did this and I don't get any more reach. And have you seen what they do on Instagram? And now, TikTok, it's like, is TikTok going to be banned? And like that is what happens when you live in like a world where someone else controls your fate. Yeah. Okay. And that's why you have to have an email list. Yeah. Because I mean, TikTok could disappear in 6 weeks. Maybe it will. All of a sudden, Facebook could take away their messaging feature, or they could make it so you can only message certain people. I mean, they can do whatever they want. It's their platform. Whenever they want. Yeah. But your email you own. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a must. Yeah. Well, another thing I think people lose sight of is like social algorithms at any given site, 10 to 20% of people might see your post, but that email is going to go to 100% of the inboxes you send it to. Yep. Yeah. I mean, if you matter. And again, it gets harder and harder, but we have to adapt. Like, just like social media gets more and more crowded. I mean, there's adaptation that has to happen. you have control. I mean, you get to walk, like you get to take that list wherever you go. Like that's your email list.
Right. I love that. I love that. So I understand you have a free gift for our viewers. Do you want to tell them a little bit about? It's super super valuable. I've actually
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny because we've talked about it a little bit in this conversation, and that is that I put together what I call the ultimate launch swipe file, and I decided to take the funnel that has created the most sales in my business. Yeah, it's the ultimate launch swipe file. It is taking the best launch funnel in my business, giving basically every email that was in the launch, giving people examples of the different content pages that were in the launch, giving people the sales script that was in the launch, the video scripts from the launch, like everything that basically all the marketing pieces that have generated over $500,000, you get them. And with them comes an explanation of how to use them. So, I mean, for anybody that's got their own offer, or anybody that wants to create their own offer, or even if you just have a presentation and you want to use some emails to follow up, that kind of thing, it's insane. It's something I should definitely charge for, but I really, I put it together. I started putting it together. I just kind of got carried away with it, and it's been a freebie ever since, for the time being, at least.
It is insane. I love it though, because, for those of you who maybe you want to have your most successful launch yet next quarter, it's all the little pieces that can be overwhelming, right? It's like, I need all the pages now. I need all the emails. I need to know what to say when I'm on camera. Like, that's what makes it feel overwhelming. Yeah,
but he's
basically giving it all to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting because it's like going into this, I hired a coach, right? Like it's like I hired a coach because I was like, there's so much, I don't know which way to turn.
Yeah.
And now it's like, one day I woke up and I'm like, I've got all this, like this gold mine saved in all these documents, and it's just sitting over here, like in this, digital treasure chest. And I said, I need to put it all together. And so I said, okay, the first time we opened the funnel, it did about 200, I think it was 230 something thousand in 13 days, right? On like a $300 product, right? This is not like, we're selling high ticket coaching here. You know what I mean? We were literally creating tons of sales. And one day I realized, hey, it's all sitting here. Like I've got it all organized in this file. Why don't I put it together and let people like take all the pieces and just use them as ideas? Obviously it'll never work if you take it, any of it word for word, or try and be me, or try and speak like I speak. You have to find your voice, but it's a perfect framework to follow.
It is. And it's like, yeah, you can always just tweak it a little bit, put it in your voice, make it your own. But you have this complete framework now, which that is so generous. Thank you so much for doing that for our viewers.
Sure.
I love it.
For sure. Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us, Justice. I'm really excited about the gift. So for those of you who are watching, be sure to join us in the Facebook group. After every interview, we do a debrief. We break it down. We talk about what we learned, our aha moments, how we're going to use the free gift to really create some crazy momentum and some amazing results. So can't wait to break it down with the group. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited about your gift. And I'm excited that like everything that you've learned and up to this point, you're now going out and applying it to other random business owners in the world who need help with COVID. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's wild. It's forced a lot of people's hands, and it's just made me realize how valuable these skills are. And so if you're just getting into this world, it could feel, in this little bubble, it could feel it very easily could feel like you're late, like it's, like it feels crowded or loud or any of that different stuff. But what you have to realize is like the world we're playing in right now, where you're finding us, is this is a small world. And there are so many people that haven't even started migrating into this world yet. And they need people with these skills, and they need you. Like there is still a long ways to go in the world of digital marketing when it comes to helping people out there. So, it's just the tip of the iceberg still.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.